Cinema Classics is sponsored by the Gateway Film Center and is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to shows online at WCBE.org. I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
This is Cinema Classics.
Sure is.
John, before the pandemic shut the entire movie-watching world down,
Yes,
theatrically at least, we were supposed to be doing a film series at the Gateway Film Center.
Yeah, we were.
We would have been focused on the films of Hitchcock.
That's correct.
Yeah, and we would have been showing and talking about
Yeah.
Rear Window.
Yes, recently.
So, as luck would have it, we're still here, and we're talking about Rear Window, even though we don't have a movie theater to screen it in.
Right.
You can find it on a streaming service, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, yes.
So, look, I think this is a perfect movie to talk about right now during the pandemic. I mean, essentially, Jimmy Stewart in Rear Window, he's got a broken leg and he's in a wheelchair, but he's shut down.
Hey, listen.
He's quarantined with a broken leg, essentially.
Hitchcock was so obsessive about this confined space that he wouldn't even allow shots of the publisher's office. In fact, they put it on as an audio. But he decided that he didn't want to get away from that apartment.
He doesn't want to break the spell of that. And what's so great is, you know, Hitchcock tried to do this with rope, right? Remember, it took one confined space, and there were no so-called visible edits in the film. And that was his attempt to really generate a certain kind of tension. One may or may not say that that was a failed experiment. This movie, there's nothing failed about it. This is like a near perfect film. And he was right to sort of open it up editing-wise, but also to close us off from the rest of the world. There's this illusion that he creates that the film seems a lot more open than it is because of Jimmy Stewart looking into all the various windows, all the various apartments that his place is overlooking. And the glimpses that you get of these people's lives and their stories, it creates this rich tapestry of a narrative.
He is so good that he allowed Miss Torso to live in that apartment.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. And this is the largest set. And is it Paramount?
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. This is the studio's largest set ever.
Wow.
And so he had that livability feel of it. There were only a few things that happened from the outside. Very important. The most important one being Grace Kelly.
Yeah.
You know, when she comes in, she brings in an outside world to him that's dangerous.
Yeah, for sure.
And Jimmy Stewart said she had natural instincts for acting.
Okay.
Which wasn't the only instincts that he found she had.
Oh, what other instincts? What? Are you implying that?
Yes,
Jimmy
I am
Stewart,
implying.
You're implying Jimmy Stewart and Grace Kelly had an affair.
I am.
Jimmy Stewart is known for being a loyal married guy. Is this true? Is this true?
Listen, two things.
Is this verifiable?
Wendell Corey said, beside that really nice guy persona, he had a whopping big ego that even intimidated Hitchcock.
Wow. This is great stuff. I'm a huge Jimmy Stewart fan. I need to learn about this.
And to be fair, Grace Kelly was Democratic. She also had one with Bing Crosby.
Oh, thank God.
So
she spread it
sounds
around
like her leading man. Anyway,
terrific.
That's not the important. That's
What can we add? I mean, Rear Window has been talked about ad nauseum. You know, as one of the great films. What can we add to this movie? What? I know we opened the show talking about the pandemic and how nicely this fits in, but what can we add?
Well, I think I can add
the
contemporary influence of surveillance that we have become, you know, since this movie over the decades, much more aware of our ability to spy on other people. Now, in a movie that we'll talk about, Rental, which refers to Hitchcock.
Yeah, for sure.
There's surveillance there. That's one of the operative motifs. So that's what I bring is, it's not just his camera lens, it's Hitchcock saying, we're watching. And everybody in that building is being watched. And Hitchcock is watching his production.
Yeah, for sure. It's always been about voyeurism.
Yes.
The movie, you know, I guess before we used to talk about Rear Window as a metaphor for watching movies, seeing films,
right.
And the stories, the little stories that you're picking up on. But I think you're right. I think today it takes on this other even actually more distasteful. I know we're not supposed to admire Stewart's character, but when you read it as a metaphor for watching films, it takes the kind of creepiness, the cringiness out of it. Now, though, we are always, surveilling everything.
Oh, we're watching.
And, we're watching,
yeah.
and you mentioned the rental, wherein a guy installs surveillance devices all through these Airbnb properties.
Right.
And that gives Rear Window a different sort of, a little sort of tang.
Well, along the lines of what you're talking about, I was intrigued. Something that added to me, and looking at it again, was the fact that Lars Torvald.
Yes. Oh, I love your correct pronunciation of it. Your Nordic pronunciation.
Well, Lars had a striking resemblance to David O. Selznick.
Oh, is that right?
Whom Hitchcock hated because he was such an intrusive producer.
Wow.
So, but that's that kind of thing that Hitchcock so easily layers into his movies, his personal obsessions.
Mm-hmm.
The other one being, of course, his blonde, his
Right.
traditional blonde.
Yeah.
And so, what else did you bring to this for a new time? There's
Well,
so rich.
I'll confess to you that I didn't rewatch this movie for our discussion, but I've seen this movie so many times that it's seared into my brain. One of the things that I've always thought about Rear Window, it's a great place movie, a comfort place movie. Let me explain. There are these films, a handful of them, that make you feel like you want to revisit them because you like spending time in the actual physical space in which the narrative takes place. The greatest example of that is Casablanca. I feel like you're in Rick's Cafe, and sometimes you miss visiting it.
Uh-huh.
You want to visit it,
Yes.
not necessarily because you want to revisit Rick and Ilsa's trials and
Right.
tribulations, but because you actually want to go to Casablanca and walk through
Yes,
Rick's
yeah.
Cafe. You want to spend some time
Yes.
there. I feel the same way about Jimmy Stewart's apartment and Rear Window. It's such a colorful, sort of lived-in place. Like, it feels like you're in that space with those characters. And, on shutdown in the pandemic, we're so confined to our own spaces. Why not spend some time with Jimmy Stewart and Grace Kelly snooping around trying to solve Lars Torvald's murder?
And here's where I add something new as well.
Mm-hmm.
The diegetic sound.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all there. All the ambient sound is there. Just the way if you were sitting at a window and listening, you'd hear it. Now in other movies,
That means wrap it up.
okay. Anyway,
Why is that? Oh, I see. I'm pressing the wrong thing.
anyway, I've got to
You
get out
go
of this.
ahead, give
Anyway,
us a-
I'm just saying how he integrates the sound, all the ambient sound into this, except for the orchestral music.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love the attention that he takes to the details, which is your point. You go back to it, you're going to see more. You don't think so? You watch.
Yeah. Great world to visit.
Rear Window, available,
Anywhere. Just go to the library.
and watch.
Yeah.